So we want to look some more at dimensional analysis now. We're going to look at some IV problems. It's important when you think about IV medications that you remember they're often prescribed as milliliters an hour or drops per minute. Sometimes they're also prescribed as far as in a time, like with an IV piggyback, and we'll talk about that later. But this is all about time, not weight. And so often you're asked to set a pump in an IV question. The first one we're going to look at is when the patient is prescribed 1,000 milliliters of normal saline to be infused in 8 hours. And the question comes, how many milliliters an hour will you set the pump? In milliliters per hour, you want to write that on the left side, just as we talked about with other dimensional analysis problems. And then you'll get milliliters an hour. Remember, you want to look for the problem, what you have in the problem that'll go with that question that you're looking for. So we have 1,000 milliliters over 8 hours. So that is what we want to circle, the milliliters an hour. That's exactly what we want. So you don't need to add anything else to your problem. You simply do the math and you get 125 milliliters an hour. A very simple way to do this problem. Remember not to add information you do not need. Now we want to look at drops per minute. And I know that many people are concerned about how do you do those drops per minute questions, but you simply need to use your dimensional analysis and you won't get messed up or mixed up. So you see here the prescription is 250 milliliters of normal saline given with a 15 drop per mil set. And the IV is to be infused in 3 hours. The question comes, at what drops per minute will the nurse set the IV pump? So you have the drops per minute, right? And you want to put that on the left side, just as we've talked about earlier. So you start with that and you put drops per minute. We're looking in the problem. Yes, we've got something with drops, and that's a 15 drops per milliliter set. Make sure that you write it down correctly. You don't want to get mixed up here and put 15 drops per minute. So 15 drops per milliliter. And already you want to circle that drops, knowing that is something you want in this problem. But we have milliliter and we don't want that. We're looking for minutes. We're looking for that time. So we see in the problem we do have 250 milliliters, and that's to be infused in 3 hours. So you write that next, and then you can actually get rid of the milliliters. But now we have hours. We're looking for minutes, not hours. This is when you do that conversion, you do that multiplication times 1. So you write there 1 hour over 60 minutes. That's like multiplying your problem by 1. And with this, you can also get rid of your hours. And what we're looking for here is minutes. So then you'll simply do this math. You get 3,750 drops over 180 minutes. You reduce that down to 20.83 drops per minute. And we're going to round up in an IV problem or round down according to what we have. We're going to round to a whole number, which 20.83 would round to 21 drops per minute. And that is how you do the drops per minute problems.